Okay, that's everybody in then, isn't it?
Yes, and that's good now.
Sorry, I'm bloody lost. Hi, thanks very much for waiting. Sorry for it took us so long. So I keep getting lost. So there's nobody here from the press, nobody here from the public. So can I just ask you then, Mrs. Allison, if you can start the recording?
It has started.
Oh, has it started already? Cool.
Yep.
Right, so with us today we have myself, who is the chair of the committee. It's Councillor Angela Convery. We have Councillor Miller, Councillor Ireland and Councillor Gilbert. Do we have any apologies?
Apologies for Deputy Provost Cunningham.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any declarations of interest from anyone? No. And can I just remind you, if you can mute your microphones when you're not speaking, that would be great. Thank you. So today we're considering item 3 of the licensing committee agenda, and it's in relation to the review of taxi fares. Can I just ask Mrs. McCusker to make any comment about the report in front of the committee, please?
Just to say that the report prepared by Joe Abrami lays out the reason for this and for the review, and the recommendations are as follows for you to consider. So first of all, to propose the new scales for hire of taxis in East Renfrewshire and all other charges in connection with the hire of a taxi or with the arrangements for his hire. Are there any comments in relation to that? I believe there was some comments in relation to soiling charges and...
Yeah, can I...
Sorry, it's a wee minute, Stuart. Annette, you put your hand up.
Yes, it was just to ask, first of all, about public representations. Will these be brought to a further committee meeting? And what is the process that will be undertaken at that meeting? And also, why is the daytime increase for the taxi charges so much higher than the evening increase?
These are questions that I can't answer. It's just that I know that Mr. Abrami certainly spoke to all the taxi drivers and all the representatives, and these are the figures, and looked at figures in other councils, and these are the figures that he came up with. So it was more to be in line with what they were. And I think, as Mr. Kilpatrick explained to us earlier, there hasn't been an increase here, was it since 2013? Since 2013. So, and what will happen is, once this report, if the committee approves the report, that will then be advertised, the terms of the report, and anybody will be invited to make representations. And once we receive the representations, these will come before the committee, and it will be up to the committee then to approve or alter the recommendations.
So just to be clear, Jackie, the recommendations, if we are passing those today, if the representations will be brought to a further meeting, and there will be the option before the committee to change what's happening today. Okay, all right, thank you. And so there's no one that can speak to why the daytime increase is so much higher than the evening? I
can only say that there's been inquiries made, and these are the figures that have been reflected in terms of those inquiries. So that would be comparing the taxi fares in other council areas, and also speaking to the operators.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Will I go through the other recommendations, or are you happy with the recommendations in relation to the fares?
Jackie, a wee second. Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to see the increases for soiling the cars is going from 40 to £45. I don't see any reason why the folks should just pay only £45. I think for soiling it should go up to maybe £60 or something like that, because if somebody's sick or drops something and it does something nasty in the back of a car, that's that car off the road for that night, that day, until the driver can tidy the car up again. So I think just as a small deterrent, that it should go up to £60. And then I understand, Jackie, that this is going out to consultation, but I would like that added in and then see what the consultation says after that.
Okay, thank you. Can I just ask a couple of questions? See the airport charges that they want added on to as an extra in the meter. How much is the airport charges now? Do we know how much?
Yes, I dropped my husband off last week. It was £4.
Right. Okay. And I mean, if this is something that obviously that has to be made clear by the taxi office and the driver before they pick up the person, so that there's no confusion at the airport, I'd imagine.
I think you'll find that the taxi companies are all quite au fait with that, and they'll explain that to passengers, that because there is no opportunity for them to drop them off without incurring that charge. There's nowhere they can stop.
Yeah, and it's only fair that they pay the entry to the airport. And there was another thing, the weekend tariff. So can it be extended? It's only they're only asking from 5 o'clock in the morning at the minute. So can we possibly extend that to 6 a.m? Is anyone else like? Is that okay?
Don't have a problem with that.
Okay, that's fine. That was the only thing. That was the only thing I wanted to say.
Right. Item is for.
Sorry, you're breaking up.
The next item is for the Chief Officer to publish all these proposed rates and giving advice as to how people can make representations so that can come to the next licensing committee. Okay, and then the final part of the report is to amend the present policy on maximum age of vehicles, and that would be, I think we explained earlier, there are difficulties in obtaining, what was the expression, Brian? Pre-used cars?
Pre-owned
cars,
as we call them.
These are very expensive, and it's just to give the taxi drivers an opportunity to be able to remain driving their vehicles. So that would be an increase from 5 years to 6 years, and that's for a period of 2 years that we would have that, and then revert back to the 5 years or review it after 2 years.
I mean, I don't have an issue with this. I think that in this day and age that we have to try and help the taxi drivers as much as possible, because we do know that they've been hit along with everybody else, but they have been hit particularly hard during the pandemic. And it is very difficult to get parts for cars and stuff like that. So I don't have any issue with this at all. Councillor Miller?
I appreciate there obviously will be concerns that if we increase the age that a car can first be licensed from 5 to 6 years, that we could end up with cars that there's, shall we say, slightly less of a decent standard than you would normally expect. However, in order for us to license a car, it has to pass this inspection at the depot in Thornabank.
Yeah.
And I still maintain that if a car can pass the inspection that we give it at Thornabank, it will pass anywhere in Scotland.
Yep.
The inspection is brutal.
Okay. Councillor Miller, did you have your hand up?
I did have my hand up, thanks, Chair, but Brian has just more or less answered the question I was going to ask.
Okay, thank you very much. Jackie, so see the consultation, can we make sure that I think there was an issue the last time, something to do with the press, it wasn't published properly. Can we make sure that that's all done this time? Okay. So that's us for item 3. Is there anything else, Jackie, that you would like to bring up regarding that? Is that
So that was all the recommendations on the report. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. So can I just move that we exclude any press and public from the next item on the agenda, and that the recording is stopped, please?
I'll second it.